Coming up tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, do you know who Joseph Kony is?
It's obvious that Kony should be stopped. The problem is 99% of the planet doesn't know who he is. If they knew, Kony would have been stopped long ago.
We talked to a San Diego group that made this video that's causing quite a buzz on the internet.
KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Joanne Ferrian.
And I'm Dwayne Brown.
More legal maneuvers tonight in the fight over San Diego's pension reform initiative. Some supporters of the measure have requested a restraining order against the state's Public Employees Relations Board, or PERB. The board has been looking into a union complaint against the pension initiative and tried unsuccessfully to get it removed from the ballot during that process. The complaint says PERB has no authority to do anything about the ballot measure because it is a citizens' initiative.
San Diego Gas and Electric faces a new argument against raising customers' bills for wildfire costs. Some victims of the 2007 wildfire say the utility scaled back spending on power line maintenance years before those fires. SDG&E lines were blamed for starting some of the fires, and the company is being sued by some fire victims. Their lawyer says SDG&E's records show a reduction in power line expenses between 2003 and 2008. That information has gone to the State Public Utilities Commission.
The California Coastal Commission has accepted an agreement ending more than a decade of environmental violations by the Del Mar Fair Board. The board committed to restoring a huge parking lot to wetlands and building walking trails along the San Dieguito River, and it agreed to modify the master plan for the fairgrounds to avoid future problems.
Several dozen women from all over San Diego County staged a rally outside the federal courthouse downtown today. They say they're pushing back against a rising tide of controversy regarding a woman's right to contraception.
We are no longer prisoners in the same old gilded cage. That's why we're marching on.
Donna Dom came from Santee to participate in this rally.
Because I fought this issue in the 50s and the 60s. To think we're fighting it again is just beyond anything I can imagine.
The controversy started about 3 weeks ago when San Diego Republican Congressman Darrell Issa convened a hearing about religious freedom and a mandate health insurers cover contraception, but he didn't allow any women to testify.
Women were basically given the right to contraceptives all the way back in 1965.
Susan Birkeland is the organizer of the rally. She says people like Congressman Issa and presidential candidate Rick Santorum are slowly trying to chip away at women's rights.
Rick Santorum also said that sex should only be for procreation. And that's pretty much, in this day and age, that's ridiculous.
And then there were the remarks from talk show host Rush Limbaugh.
He really disrespected all women. He basically said that any woman who uses birth control is a slut or a prostitute.
Birkeland says on this International Women's Day, ladies across the country are pushing back and will use their voting power come Election Day in November.
An amendment to overturn the Obama administration's new contraception rule narrowly failed in the Senate. It would have allowed the employer to refuse providing health coverage by citing moral reasons.
Janitors and other service workers also rallied downtown today, protesting what they say is unfair treatment of immigrants. It was part of a larger protest against an Alabama law allowing police to demand proof of citizenship during traffic stops and other encounters.
A couple of UC San Diego researchers hope to help California utilities become more efficient when it comes to putting solar power into the electricity grid. State regulators are spending $1.5 million on new forecasting tools. KPBS business reporter Eric Anderson is following the story. He's joining us from the News Center. What problem are these researchers trying to solve, Eric?
Well, they're trying to figure out exactly how to make the grid more stable. Think of the electricity grid as this big, huge, complicated lattice of water pipes that have holes in them, so that you constantly have to put water in them in order to keep the flow steady. Well, that's how the electricity grid works. You constantly have to put electricity in order to keep the flow steady. If the electricity source drops a bit in one area, it creates instability, and that's what they're trying to fix.
And how do they plan to go about doing that?
Well, what they do right now is they actually go out and they buy backup power. So if they have solar power online, they make sure that there's a power line available, so if there's an interruption, it can jump in. And what they hope to do is use better forecasting tools to actually find out exactly how much solar power is going to be generated as far as 2 days in advance, and then they'll have to, then they won't have to buy as much backup power.
And Eric, how might this affect the utilities' bottom line?
Well, obviously, if they have less backup power online, it's going to be cheaper, and those cost savings will be passed on to the customer. So that's going to be one thing. But I think the other thing, the more important thing, is it would make solar power much more reliable, and of course, that would add value to that source of energy for California.
KPBS business reporter Eric Anderson. A San Diego nonprofit group has produced a video creating a huge stir around the world. Joanne speaks with the chief operating officer of Invisible Children at the Evening Edition Roundtable.
If you've been on a computer or turned on the TV in the past 24 hours, you've probably seen or heard about Kony 2012. It's a 30-minute video bringing attention to an accused Ugandan war criminal and calling people to action. It's had tens of millions of views worldwide. So many, the number changes as we prepare this broadcast. Here's a clip.
The only way to stop Kony is showing him, guy, we're going to arrest you.
What do you think we should do about it?
We should stop him.
The criminal here is Kony. Stop him, and then solve all the problems.
We should stop who?
Him.
It's obvious that Kony should be stopped. The problem is 99% of the planet doesn't know who he is. If they knew, Kony would have been stopped long ago.
Well, it's safe to say millions more know who Joseph Kony is today than yesterday. But what now? Invisible Children is the organization that produced that video. They are based here in San Diego. Chris Carver is the Chief Operating Officer, and he joins me now. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So for the people who have not yet seen this video, briefly explain who Joseph Kony is and what this video attempts to do.
Yeah, so Joseph Kony is the #1 or first indicted war criminal by the International Criminal Court. He originally started in Uganda, and that's where he's started the Lord's Resistance Army. He started abducting children and women to kind of build his ranks, and that has been going on for the past 26 years. He's now moved out of northern Uganda, and now he and his top commanders are in the Congo, Central African Republic, and South Sudan, continuing to do that. There's no political interest, there's no economic interest to stop him, or anything that's supporting him as well.
So your video, in this very remarkable way, through the eyes of a father and a young son here in America, connects us to these kids in Uganda. And it really is masterful at sort of manipulating your heartstrings in all the right places. And at the end, it calls people to action. It really, truly makes you feel like, as an individual here in the U.S., you can do something. You can change the world. And I think that's part of the success right now that it's having. But I think what critics are arguing now, and there's been some criticism, in the end, it's masterful at making you feel a certain way. But does it solve a problem in the end? What is it really offering to people?
Yeah, I mean, so first and foremost, you can change the world. And I think young students, young people get that. And they get it more than ever because they are connected. They're connected throughout the world. And so what you can do is you can continue to put a positive political push or positive momentum towards this, awareness towards this, so that our political leaders, whether it's in the United States or whether it's around the world, will continue to go after him, abduct, capture Joseph Kony, so that we can actually see his trial put on at the International Criminal Court. So that will be an example for future criminals like him.
I think here's part of the criticism about that. The other really great thing that you show in this video is how you kind of turn this triangle of power upside down. That if money and politics sort of rule the system, you're saying no, the people can, and the people can through social media, through awareness. But then there's a process in politics in terms of who government targets. Now you guys, a group of 40 in San Diego, through this very powerful video and the power of social media, get to decide?
Well, the people here in the U.S. have always decided, and it's a matter of putting more pressure on our political leaders to go after what we think is important. And what is important is that no child should live in fear of their life. And what's happening is young students who may not be able to vote now have a voice, right? And they're able to use that voice to tell their political leaders that there is something we can do. And I think that's what we're explaining, and that's what's resonating with students. That's what's resonating with young people. And it's just describing that it is taking back the power. There is a lot of frustration, as we know. And it's more about using your voice to be able to, get what is done and what is important.
I want to read one of the criticisms. This comes from a blog from The Atlantic, theatlantic.com. And here the writer says, "Invisible Children has turned the myopic worldview of the adolescent. If I don't know about it, then it doesn't exist. But if I care about it, then it is the most important thing in the world," into a foreign policy prescription. Now, this comes from Kate Cronin-Furman and Amanda Taub, again, theatlantic.com. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I would respond. I mean, we know that there's so many important issues out there, so many, and we're not saying that this is more important than the others. The facts are, though, that this has gone on for 26 years, and we actually used a number in the film that was 30,000. But there are some reports that's up to 60,000. But we want it to be fairly conservative. So what we're saying is that when there is no political interest, no economic interest, and something like this has gone on for so long, it needs to be stopped. And if the governments aren't going to say, this is important, we want the people to be able to say, no, wait a minute, it is important, and you actually have to do something. That's why we elected you.
Your group has really, by producing this powerful video, and you've sort of taken some of the power back to the people. But with that power comes responsibility. Are you worried about who you align yourself with? And here's we want to show a photo that's been circulating. You're well aware of this photo. It's a couple members of your organization posing with the Sudan People's Liberation Army. According to some critics, this group is also accused of various crimes. So are you worried that by sort of taking back the power to the people, you align yourself with groups that maybe you shouldn't be aligned with?
Yeah, I mean, how I look at it, and I described it a little bit earlier, is that we need to work with all organizations that are focused on this issue because each one have different pieces of the puzzle, different pieces of information. So if pundits or people want to use the word align, then I think the fair thing is we are talking and aligning ourselves with all organizations that are focused on trying to solve this one problem.
Chris Carver, thank you so much for being here. There's so much more to this story, and I want to send people to our website where they can see this video. They can see a lot more written about this, and it's kpbs.org, and we've got lots online. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
The San Diego Group has also come under fire for its lack of financial transparency. You can hear Chris Carver's response to that at kpbs.org. Congressman and mayoral candidate Bob Filner wants San Diego to be a regional leader. We'll talk with him about his campaign in just a moment. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
The fabric of democracy, I think, really has worn very thin.
The opposite of poverty is not wealth. The opposite of poverty is justice.
Americans have to fight for the American dream.
Democracy is not what governments do, it's what people do.
This is how we fight back.
Moyers and Company. I'm Bill Moyers. Join me Friday nights at 10 on KPBS San Diego.
I wanna go to the sun, hold my life like I'd never done. But it's just the devil in me, the devil that's calling as I come undone. And it's the fire, it's heavenly, heavenly. You don't have to be lost. You don't have to be lost.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
Congressman Bob Filner has a shot at being San Diego's first elected Democratic mayor in nearly 30 years. Filner represents the 51st District and draws support from union members, but he's facing an electorate divided over the benefits city workers receive. In the final part of our series on the race for San Diego mayor, KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr has this profile.
To help unwind after a long day, Congressman Bob Filner sometimes sits down at the piano.
It's the one thing that you can, after a long day of work, it doesn't matter how well you play, and I don't play very well, but just your mind is somewhere else, and you're fooling around with techniques that have nothing to do with political ideas or anything else. So it's a great stress remover.
Filner began taking lessons as a child and picked it up again while he was in high school in New York. The 69-year-old father of two says he's partial to show tunes from the 40s and 50s.
It was a simpler time. As I said earlier, it takes me back to my first girlfriend, where we went to the carousel.
Times are not as simple for Filner now. He's served on the San Diego Unified School Board and on the City Council. He was first elected to the U.S. Congress in 1992 and has held that seat ever since, representing South San Diego and Imperial County. He's served as chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee and is now the ranking member. But Filner says he's leaving that behind and running for mayor because he's ready for a change.
Washington has become very dysfunctional. You can't do very much, and if you're a member of the minority party, as I am, it's almost impossible. And I look back at my hometown, where I lived for 40 years, and said, you know, I haven't seen leadership in this city, in the mayor's office, for 3 decades.
But after initial excitement that a viable Democrat was getting into the race, some of his supporters began to fret over his seemingly lackluster campaign. Alternative weekly newspaper San Diego City Beat even wrote an editorial urging Filner to pick up the pace. But Filner brushes off those concerns, saying he's had plenty of experience winning elections.
We know how to raise the money. We know how to do the campaign. We know how to tactically do this. So I will have the money for this campaign. We will have the volunteers. We have dozens and dozens of volunteers now. And we will win this election.
If he does win, Filner has several priorities for the city. He says he'd like to take greater advantage of the port. He wants San Diego to act as a regional leader, and he wants to begin investing in neighborhoods. And Filner says San Diego has to gain back many of the middle-class jobs it lost when defense contracting firms scaled back their operations here.
We have high-tech and we have service jobs. We need to provide jobs for skilled working people over the vast middle range, as it were, of our economy.
Unlike his 3 Republican challengers, Filner does not support the 401k pension reform initiative on the June ballot. But those hoping he would provide an alternate measure for the ballot were out of luck. Still, he says he has a plan that includes capping pensions.
I could do the other parts of my plan without a referendum. I could put caps on the first day I'm mayor. I could negotiate a 5-year labor agreement. I could, if the council agreed with me, we could issue pension obligation bonds.
Filner says pension obligation bonds would allow the city to pay its pension debt over a longer period of time. He says that would lower the payments and free up money to put into the city's general fund. It's an idea that would likely gain traction with unions who are fighting to maintain pension benefits. Critics say it's an example of Filner pandering to the labor organizations whose support he counts on. But Filner dismisses that.
People know I'm an effective leader, and nobody controls me. I'm in nobody's pocket. I'm an independent person, and everybody knows that. Yes, I have the support of labor unions, and I'm proud of that, because those are the working people of our city. But nobody tells me what to do.
Filner says he'd work for all of San Diego, though he wants to see what he calls the downtown power structure broken up. He says San Diego has become more ethnically and politically diverse over the years, and in fact, a majority of voters in the city are registered Democrats. Filner's hoping those voters will turn out to the polls in June and push him into November's general election and beyond.
For profiles on all the major candidates running for San Diego mayor, go to our website, kpbs.org/mayor.
An El Cajon state senator wants to change the law so inmates on death row are executed faster. One study says inmates stay on death row for as long as 25 years. Republican Senator Joel Anderson is proposing 2 changes. I spoke with him yesterday from Sacramento. First, tell me about the changes you are proposing.
Well, I'm taking a 2-pronged approach to streamlining the death penalty. We have SCA 20, which is a Senate constitutional amendment, and what that would do is it would move the Court of Appeal, instead of appealing cases to the Supreme Court, you now appeal cases to the Court of Appeal. The other is SB 1514, which would say that you don't get an automatic appeal. You'd actually have to earn it like every other crime.
Isn't there a reason, though, that the law says there should be an automatic appeal?
Well, we don't want to execute people who are innocent, but we're not talking about your average murderers. We're talking about the most heinous murderers, the serial killers, where there's overwhelming evidence, and that they're still going to get an appeal process, but it'll go through the federal appeal process. It just won't go automatically through the state appeal process. Now, if there's extenuating circumstances, they still would get that appeal. We're not eliminating the appeal. We're just saying if you had the knife in your hand, you killed 10 people, we have it on videotape, and you admit that you did it, that you can't tie up and slow down the process. Because I think that we all understand that justice delayed is justice denied.
I understand what you're saying in terms of you have the knife in your hand and you say you did it and you believe there's all this evidence, but we also know that according to the Death Penalty Information Center, between 2000 and 2011, there have been an average of 5 exonerations of death row inmates across the country per year. So we also know that we make mistakes. So isn't the system in place the way it is, albeit being long and expensive, to make sure we get it right?
Well, I agree. We need to get it right. But allowing people to sit and be warehoused on death row for over 25 years is absolutely outrageous. The fact of the matter is that many of their victims never saw 25 years of life on this earth. This isn't justice. This is just simply warehousing people. We can do better, and I want to fix it.
So we know voters in California will be voting on a ballot measure which would replace the death penalty with life in prison with no chance of parole. Now, would you support that measure, or do you support instead the death penalty?
Look, what I'm proposing is only for the most heinous of crimes. We're not talking about 2 brothers that got drunk one night and somebody got stabbed accidentally or fell down, was pushed downstairs and died. We're talking about people that premeditated the murder, they're overwhelmingly guilty, and we're giving them justice. The idea that somebody can sit and be warehoused for 25 years on death row is outrageous.
So we know also that in 2011, a field poll found that 68% of Californians polled did want to keep the death penalty here in this state. But when asked which sentence do you prefer, life in prison without parole or the death penalty, more of them picked life in prison without parole. What would you choose given that question?
Well, I think that people understand that in California, the death penalty is a joke. It's 25 years. If you compare that to, say, Maryland, where the D.C. sniper was convicted in Maryland and another state, went through the entire federal appeals process, and within 7 years was executed. He was tried and convicted, appealed, and was executed within 7 years, and he went through 2 states. Yet we have people sitting warehoused on death row for over 25 years. When you ask those polling questions, people fundamentally know that the death penalty is broken here in California. If they knew that the death penalty would be fixed, then we should go back and poll them and see what they think. I believe that people fundamentally understand that justice denied is justice delayed. I said it backwards. Justice delayed is justice denied. And I think that people understand that, and that's That's why they're voting the way they did in the poll.
Finally, Senator, what is the status of your proposed legislation right now?
It's been submitted. We're going to be going into our first hearings here shortly. And I would encourage people to Google my name and come to my website. If your viewers have an opinion on this, I want to hear from them. So I would encourage them to go ahead and email my office at senator.anderson@sen.gov.
Okay, Senator Joel Anderson, thanks for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next News Hour, the latest news, analysis, and in-depth reporting you've come to expect from our team. Join us tomorrow for the PBS News Hour.
Hi, I'm Billy McLaughlin, and I hope you'll tune in for my concert, Starry Night with Orchestra Nova, right here on KPBS.
Premieres March 18th at 8 on KPBS.
The American people have named PBS the most trusted source of news and public affairs.
For the 8th year in a row.
Trust.
The American people have spoken.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. Yesterday, I spoke with the attorney who successfully argued Roe versus Wade in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Sarah Weddington won the landmark case legalizing abortion 39 years ago. Here's what some of you had to say about the interview. Jennifer Prisk writes, "Thank you for your interview with the very intelligent Sarah Weddington. She explained with civility the need for women to control their own bodies. When more women like her speak up, perhaps the government will get the idea that we can make decisions for ourselves." And Dan Jacob says, "The female contraception issue that has cropped up should not be an issue. Controversy is being stoked by those who want to impose personal beliefs on society as a whole. Personal beliefs apply to how you conduct your personal life. How others conduct their personal life is not your business when it is no skin off your back." Well, I have a new question for you today. First, are you one of the millions who watched the Kony 2012 video? And if you are, what did you think? Send me an email, jfarian@kpbs.org, and let me know if I can use your comments on the air.
College basketball's March Madness is on the way, and today, San Diego State Aztecs racked up their first win in the Mountain West Conference tournament. The men's team beat Boise State 65-62.
You can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight at kpbs.org/evening edition.
Thank you for joining us.
Have a great night.
Good night.